All right. Okay, hello guys. This is Yama from Yamamoto Spanish Language Solutions. I'm trying to get my stuff ready here. And this is the a new video from the series of the week previous to spring break. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a little quick review of what we've talked about. I'm going to show you over here. Okay, so let me get a little bit closer. All right, review of what I've done this past week. It's on Monday we did Duolingo right here. If you can see the pointer, that means that the students from the point of view of native Spanish speakers learned English. So again, they're reviewing their Spanish, which is one of the main things that we want them to do. Then on Tuesday, we started off our trip or our week learning about Teotihuacan. Okay, and I explained how you basically you put a PowerPoint and you keep the students engaged. You have pictures of yourselves and just make it a very, very easy situation for you. Okay, and today, Wednesday, if you remember on Wednesday, I had put Lake Titicaca and learning Guarani, but because of technical difficulties with the PowerPoint, I had to change from Lake Titicaca to Machu Picchu and Guarani. Okay, and what does that mean? And Guarani? Well, first, the Machu Picchu part, what they had to do is, really quick review also. Hold on a sec. Really quick review of the layout of the classroom. Okay, remember all these desks are looking to the center. Okay? Because this is, hola Checho, ¿cómo estás? This is, hola Claudia, ¿cómo estás? This is, again, this is the seminar, this classroom design. Everything is focused to the middle, to the Promethean panel. Okay? Hola Patricia. Anyway, going back to this, okay? Going back to day 3 or Wednesday, since I had that technical difficulties with the Lake Titicaca stuff, we were going to talk about Machu Picchu. And one of the things, you'll be surprised how many of these kids, or how many kids don't or can't tell what Machu Picchu looks like, or if they've ever heard of it. Okay? So as you were able to see, the computers are still on the desks. The computers are still on the desks. So what we were doing is, before we did anything, is let's open the computers or your access to the internet and Google image Machu Picchu. Okay, and once they see what Machu Picchu is, then you ask them again, and they're like, oh yeah. Or some people are still have no idea what Machu Picchu is, but at least now they kind of have. Now they have an image. It's like, okay, I guess now this is what he's talking about. And the Guarani part is, first of all, the presentation of Machu Picchu is around 20 minutes long. Okay, 20 minutes long. Why? Because after that 20 minutes, the students will be working on Duolingo from the Spanish-speaking point of view. They're going to be learning Guarani, as Spanish speakers would. Okay? Now, what's going on while they're learning or working on Duolingo with the Spanish, as Spanish speaking in Guarani, I'm calling students up to tell them what their grades are. Okay? And if they're missing anything, I'll tell them, okay, we'll go and let's make this up right now.
Helen Martinez, your ride is waiting at the circle desk in the front. Helen Martinez, your ride is waiting at the front desk.
Thank you. Anyway, so what does that do? While I'm doing work here with the students, they're seeing the novelty of Guarani. They're like, what is this? And now, why Guarani? you might ask? Well, since we're doing Machu Picchu, and that's an indigenous city in South America, well, I said, you know what? Why don't they learn from the point of view of a Spanish speaker an indigenous language from South America? And this is an official language in Paraguay and Bolivia. So it kind of still sticks in the or stays in the realm of being of a Spanish-speaking country, if anybody has to ask or whatever it is. But it's the challenge of a new language. Okay. Now, let's go really quick to the presentation here. Let me move over here. So today we're doing Machu, like I mentioned right here, and like I mentioned yesterday. Where's my clicker? My clicker's right here. Have pictures of yourself, okay? Have pictures of yourself. Whatever you do, try to have a picture that makes it real. The students will be laughing, and, they'll look at that and they're like, "Was that you?" It's like, yeah, that was me back in the day, And they love having pictures of
students. You need to make your way out of the hallway into a designated area. If you are done with tutorials, you need to go to overflow. If you have no ID, you need to go to the front of the building, call your ride to pick you up. If you are past the 5 minute to get to overflow, you need to make your way to the front to call your ride. Again, all students need to be out of the hallway and into a designated area. Thank you.
Okay, going back to this. Okay, so now they know what Machu Picchu is. They have the picture of you. They'll laugh. They'll start a conversation. You control the conversation, of course. And they'll say funny stuff. For example, today, in my second period, a kid looked at that and said, "Hey, are you cosplaying like the little kid from the movie Up?" That made the whole room laugh. And I was like, oh my goodness, really? Okay. It was funny, but it still got a conversation, and that means that the kids were actually paying attention, you know what I mean? So, just with this example of Machu Picchu, you just kind of explain them, all right, explain to them, there's two, to get to Machu, there's two Inca trails, okay? Or 2 day, or two versions of the Inca Trail, the 2-day and the 4-day. And then you explain all that stuff, and you tell them, we did the 2-day Inca Trail. This is the itinerary. Then you tell them, you would go over the itinerary and you say, hey, we wake up at 3:30. It's like, oh my God, you woke up at 3:30. You go through each single thing, and the students are taking notes, of course. And again, that makes the students want to converse. They'll give their opinion. They'll talk about whatever. It's like, oh my goodness. They'll see the intensity of how you vacation, or at least how I vacation, and that'll bring again conversation. You explain, and then boom. Since it's a 2-day Inca Trail, that's the one we did. Is that you have another one, and then you explain. Hey, you remember that picture of Machu that you guys just Googled, and there was this mountain. Well, the mountain in the back is called Mach Picchu, and that's where I took this picture from. And then you explain that, and they're like, oh my goodness, that's way too high, or whatever expressions or comments that they have that actually make the class flow some more. That's the whole thing, okay? Is for them to have the novelty, to keep talking, to just be in the classroom. But remember, you are the ones that keep the class going, okay? And then you go over the itinerary or whatever it is you guys want to do. And just keep it fun. And it's something that you want to do. That's the main thing, something you want to do on these days. And then you just go over your quick PowerPoint. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Again, here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is us. They see pictures of you. They love that. This is a view of, okay, and again, this is when you get cross-curricular. It's like, okay, where this is in South America. Oh, it's geography, right? And then, oh, look, it's the Andes. Oh, geography again. But like really geography. And then you have something like this. This picture, I put it in. That's my nephew Pablo, a long time ago. And I put this picture just so the kids that are watching, they're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Kind of like a little brief pause to all the stuff that we're doing, and all that kind of stuff. You know, you talk about here, you can talk science, like, oh, why is the river all black, and they'll start saying it's the rain and the whatever and the mud and the silt and all these kind of things, and what type of farming they did, the river again, and then you end up at something like this. It's like, oh my God, what is that? It's like, hey, does that, you know, it's like, oh, that looks like Jurassic Park, whatever it is. It's just the students throwing stuff at you, and you just you know, talking about your experience, which a lot of them, believe it or not, they will be inspired by this. Believe it or not, they will be inspired by this. And like I said, you just pictures of you and just going over and things like that, and yakety schmackety. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. And now I won't. That's what we're going to be doing on today and tomorrow. Okay, on Friday, we're going to be doing a different place. We're going to be going to a different place. It's almost a little bit like what we're going to be doing, or what we did today, but it's going to be a different country and a different city, and it's going to be a little bit more different with the activities. But the students are still going to be engaged and learning, and you'll be engaged with them. Okay? Remember. I mean, it's how you want the class to go. Okay? Anyway, that was basically all I was going to talk to you about today. Hopefully, you guys were able to get something out of it, and I'll see you when I see you. Ciao.